When to eat. Achieving and sustaining a perfectly healthy body cannot be accomplished solely through mental processes or involuntary functions. There are specific actions, which are somewhat voluntary, that directly relate to the continuation of life. These include eating, drinking, breathing, and sleeping. Regardless of one's thoughts or mindset, survival hinges on the ability to eat, drink, breathe, and sleep. Furthermore, well-being is compromised if any of these activities are performed in an unnatural or incorrect manner. Therefore, it is crucial to understand the correct approach to these voluntary functions, starting with eating, which is of utmost importance. There has been extensive debate about when to eat, what to eat, how to eat, and how much to eat. However, this debate is unnecessary because finding the right way is relatively straightforward. One must simply consider the principle that governs all forms of achievement, be it health, wealth, power, or happiness, which is to take action in the present, right where you are. The goal is to execute each action to the best of your ability and infuse each effort with faith. The processes of digestion and assimilation are overseen by a part of our mentality often referred to as the subconscious mind. For clarity, I will use this term going forward. The subconscious mind regulates all life functions and processes and signals when the body requires more food through a sensation known as hunger. Hunger indicates that food is needed and can be utilized. Thus, when hunger arises, it is time to eat. Conversely, eating without hunger, no matter how significant the perceived need for food, constitutes an unnatural and incorrect action. Even in cases of apparent starvation and extreme weight loss, a lack of hunger signals that food cannot be properly utilized, making it inappropriate to eat. Even if one has gone for days, weeks, or months without food, if hunger is absent, it is almost certain that the body cannot use food effectively. When the body requires food and has the capacity to digest and assimilate it, the subconscious mind generates a pronounced sense of hunger. Occasionally, food consumed without hunger may still be digested because nature strives to adapt despite unfavorable conditions. However, consistently eating without hunger can ultimately harm digestive capacities and lead to numerous health issues. If the above statements are accurate, and they are indisputably so, it follows that the natural and healthy time to eat is when hunger is present. Conversely, eating when not hungry is neither natural nor healthy. Thus, it is fundamentally simple to determine when to eat. Always consume food when hungry, and never eat when not hungry. This adherence to natural instincts aligns with obedience to nature, which equates to obedience to a higher power. It is essential to clarify the difference between hunger and appetite. Hunger arises from the subconscious mind's indication for additional nourishment needed for bodily repair and maintenance of internal heat. It is only experienced when there is a genuine need for food and the capability to digest it. On the other hand, appetite reflects a desire for sensory satisfaction. For instance, a person who drinks excessively may crave alcohol out of appetite, but this does not constitute hunger. Likewise, someone who is correctly nourished cannot feel hunger for sweets or candy, as that desire is purely appetitive. One cannot experience hunger for beverages like tea or coffee or for elaborately prepared foods. Any desire for such items stems from appetite, not hunger. Hunger represents nature's signal for the materials necessary for building new cells, and it never calls for anything that cannot be rationally utilized for this purpose. Appetite often stems from habits. When one eats or drinks at specific times, particularly when consuming sweetened, spiced, or stimulating foods, the craving appears consistently at those times. However, this habitual craving should not be confused with true hunger. Hunger does not arise at predetermined times. It manifests only when work or physical activity has depleted enough bodily tissue to necessitate the intake of new sustenance. For example, if someone has eaten adequately the day before, it is unlikely that they will experience genuine hunger upon waking from a restful sleep. During sleep, the body restores its vitality and the digestion of the previous day's food is completed, eliminating the immediate need for food unless the person went to bed in a state of starvation. With a reasonably natural feeding regimen, it is not possible to feel authentic hunger for an early morning meal. The first meal of the day is generally consumed to satisfy appetite, not to fulfill hunger. Regardless of one's circumstances or workload, unless someone goes to bed hungry, they will not wake up feeling hungry. Hunger results from physical activity, not from sleep. It is irrelevant who you are or what you do. The so-called no breakfast approach is the appropriate choice for everyone, as it follows the fundamental principle that hunger is only felt when it is earned. I recognize that many people enjoy their breakfasts, considering it their best meal, claiming their work is so strenuous that they cannot function without food in the morning. Yet, such assertions crumble in the face of reality. They relish breakfast similarly to how a drinker enjoys their morning beverage, not because it addresses a genuine need, but because it fulfills a conditioned desire. Breakfast may be their favorite meal for the same reason that the drinker favors their morning drink. Furthermore, they can do without it, as millions across various professions successfully skip breakfast and thrive as a result. To live in accordance with the science of being well, you must never eat until you have earned hunger. So, when should I have my first meal if I skip breakfast? In almost all cases, eating around noon is appropriate. It's typically the most convenient time. If you are engaged in strenuous work, you are likely to be hungry enough by noon for a sizable meal. If your work is lighter, you may still feel hungry enough for a smaller meal. The simplest guideline is to eat your first meal of the day at noon if you feel hungry. If you aren't hungry, wait until you are. And when should I have my second meal? Only eat a second meal if you are truly hungry for it, and only if that hunger is genuinely earned. If you do feel hungry later, eat at a time that is convenient for you, but ensure it's out of legitimate earned hunger. Readers curious about the rationale behind this meal timing can refer to the recommended literature in the preface of this work. From the discussion above, it is clear that the science of being well answers the question of when and how often to eat. Consume food when you experience earned hunger, and do not eat at any other time.